Welcome to the Wellness Lab Digest, where we distill life-changing insights from top wellness experts into bite-sized, science-backed episodes that fit your real life. If you're into quick, practical tools for better health, hit that subscribe button now and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. And don't forget to check the description below for links to our trusted sponsors and ways you can support the show. Now, let's feed your mind and fuel your day.
Here's something that might surprise you. 2,500 years ago, the ancient Greeks were already obsessing over self-improvement and being their best selves, just like our Instagram feeds today.
Well, that's fascinating. I guess humans haven't changed as much as we think. What exactly were they saying about it back then?
So, the Greek philosopher Aristotle introduced this concept called eudaimonia. It basically means human flourishing. He saw it as life's ultimate goal, which isn't too different from all those self-help books filling the shelves today.
It's interesting how these ancient ideas keep circling back. But what does being your best self actually mean in practical terms?
Well, that's where Maslow's hierarchy of needs comes in. You know, that pyramid diagram showing how our needs build on each other. The fascinating thing is that self-actualization, or reaching your full potential, only becomes possible after meeting more basic needs like food, safety, and belonging.
Oh, right. So you're saying we can't focus on being our best selves if we're worried about where our next meal is coming from?
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. Studies show that people often get stuck trying to achieve some perfect ideal rather than focusing on genuine growth. Like, get this, research has found that constantly comparing yourself to unrealistic standards can actually decrease motivation by up to 30%.
That's exactly what happens on social media. Everyone posting their highlight reel while the rest of us feel like we're falling short.
Right. And speaking of research, let me share something fascinating about goal setting. A study divided people into 5 groups with different approaches to their goals. The results were pretty eye-opening.
Well, don't keep us in suspense. What did they find?
So here's the wild part. Just writing down your goals made people 50% more likely to achieve them compared to just thinking about them. And when they added progress tracking and accountability, the success rates went through the roof.
That's such a simple change with such a big impact. What other practical strategies did the research uncover?
Well, mindfulness and meditation showed some pretty remarkable results. Multiple studies found that regular meditation can reduce negative thinking by up to 40% and even physically change your brain structure in as little as 8 weeks.
You know, I've always been curious about meditation but felt intimidated by it. How would someone actually get started?
So the key is starting small. Even 5 minutes a day can make a difference. But here's something really interesting about journaling, too. Research shows it can boost your immune system function by up to 20% and improve sleep quality significantly.
That's incredible. I had no idea writing could have such physical effects.
Oh, yeah. And here's another surprising finding. Strong social connections can be as important for your health as quitting smoking. Studies show people with robust social networks live up to 15 years longer than those who are isolated.
So being your best self isn't just about individual achievement. It's about building meaningful relationships too.
Precisely. And this ties back to something really fascinating in the research. Acts of generosity, like volunteering, trigger the same reward centers in our brains as food and sex. It literally makes us happier on a neurological level.
Well, that certainly puts a new spin on doing good makes you feel good.
And here's another counterintuitive finding. Exercise doesn't just benefit your body. Studies show that those 150 minutes of weekly moderate exercise can improve cognitive function by up to 25% and reduce depression risk by nearly a third.
These are some pretty compelling numbers. But how do we balance all these different aspects without getting overwhelmed?
That's where the concept of microhabits comes in. Research shows that making tiny 1% improvements in different areas consistently leads to exponential growth over time, up to 37 times better performance over a year.
Oh, wow. So it's really about small, sustainable changes rather than dramatic transformations.
Exactly right. And here's something else that might surprise you. Studies show that people who view self-improvement as a journey rather than a destination report 40% higher life satisfaction scores.
That's such a refreshing perspective. It takes some of the pressure off, doesn't it?
Well, it really does. And you know what's fascinating? Research indicates that accepting imperfection and setbacks actually leads to faster progress than striving for perfection. People who embrace their mistakes learn new skills up to 23% faster.
Sounds like the path to being your best self might be more about self-acceptance than self-improvement sometimes.
That's a great observation. And it brings us full circle to what Aristotle was saying all those centuries ago. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. And modern research backs this up. People who focus on growth rather than achievement report 35% higher levels of life satisfaction.
These insights really change how we might think about self-improvement, don't they?
They absolutely do. And remember, every small step counts. Whether it's writing down one goal, taking a 5-minute meditation break, or just reaching out to a friend, you're already on your way to being your best self. Thanks for tuning in to the Wellness Lab Digest. If this episode helped you, here are 3 quick ways to support the show. 1. Subscribe to stay updated with fresh, body-loving wellness insights. 2. Share this episode with a friend who needs this today. 3. Comment below and tell us what topics you'd love to hear next. Want to do even more? Check the video description for ways to support the show. Stay curious, stay well, and we'll see you in the next episode.